Alright, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about dairy product identification. And we're not necessarily going to get into like the nitty gritties of cheese and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to get you familiar a little bit with some of our different dairy products, kind of what they look like. Now this is going to be harder for you guys at home who have not actually seen this in person, because you don't get to involve all your senses. You don't actually get to smell it. You don't actually get to maybe even touch it. So it might be a tad more challenging, but at least through this you're going to get to see it. So what I'm going to do is you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then a bonus one of different kinds of dairy products. Now, we're not going to repeat anything per se, but you are going to get some different examples of kind of what they at least look like. I'll give you a couple of seconds to look at it, and then I'm going to go through them all together with you. And so we'll roll from there. So this is product A. So I'm going to try to get as good of a look as I can. Kind of wiggle it around. Can you smell? To give you an idea of the smell, it's a little on the sour side, but not too terribly bad. A little pungent, a little bit sweet all at the same time. I wish I could record smells. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Here's B, product B. So you can see the texture, color. It's been sitting out just a tad, so it's starting to get a little bit yellowed and crusted on kind of our edge here. Here we've got product C. You can see we've got a lot different texture kind of looking at this compared to some of the others. Somewhere we missed D. Product D. Oh, I haven't talked at all about the smells on any of the rest of these. So this one smells very strong. Kind of reminds you of a pizzeria a little bit, very pungent. Here is product E. This one smells just a little sweet, but a little bit sour. You can see kind of the texture here, kind of our color. Product F. Kind of the texture, smells a little on the sourish side. Gotta go around over here. G. We can see the color is kind of more of a brownish, yellowish, tannish color. We can see the texture. The texture is very similar to glue, if that helps you out. If we smell this, it smells very sweet, kind of almost like caramel. H, almost the same color, just a couple shades lighter. Texture, consistency, definitely a lot runnier than the last one we looked at, but still pretty thick. Not quite thick enough to be paint, but getting pretty close. That's H. It smells just a hair sweet. I, smells kind of sweet and salty all at the same time. And then here's your bonus one. Now I'm going to park I and bonus one next to each other just for some compare and contrast. Okay, now we're going to go back through these together. Hello, chinchilla. And kind of talk about them. Instead of doing Where's Waldo in my videos, we should do Where's Pip. There he is over there. Alright, so item A. If you guessed that this was cheese and that it's just shredded cheese, good call. Now, being able to smell it would kind of help you figure out what kinds it is. Most everybody today has been guessing this was mozzarella. And mozzarella is one of the cheeses. I actually kind of fooled you a little bit on this one. It's a pizza blend, so we have some mozzarella, some Parmesan, some Romano. So we've got a few different varieties that we've got all kind of parked in there together. B is cream cheese. So the block shape kind of gave it away here just a little bit. But if we smell this, so it's made kind of creamier in texture. The longer this sits out, kind of the more dried out it gets, and the less squishy the texture becomes. So this is sweetened, and it's been cultured. C, I call this halfway cheese. but most normal people would call it cottage cheese. So this is like halfway through the cheese making process. So we've started to get this cheese curded and then just kind of left it as is. So this is actually large curd cottage cheese, so you can see the curds are pretty good size. If we look at the texture, most people guess this right away by the smell that it is yogurt, and it is. This is actually vanilla flavored because I couldn't find any unflavored yogurt. Most people that have yogurt, if you have it unflavored, a lot of you don't like it because you like the extra sweeteners and flavors that we've added to it. The yogurt is cultured, so we add bacteria to it to give it the tanginess and also to help start to grow good bacteria that are good for us. Oops, I went backwards in order, I guess, on those two. This is Parmesan cheese. Parmesan's a very dry cheese, which means you can actually grate it to get it this texture. It's very, very popular on pizza, pasta dishes, things like that. If you tried to do this with a higher moisture cheese, you would not be able to get it to grate that finely unless it was frozen when you tried to grate it. You just make a squishy mess. So this one, based on the color, most people guess right away, is sour cream. If we smell it, kind of the smell gives it away as well. It's got a very sour kind of smell to it. Some people have kind of struggled with this one, but sweet in the name kind of helps give it away. This is sweet condensed milk. So sweet condensed milk, they condense it down, they evaporate the water out of it, and then they add a little bit of sweetener. Super popular in caramel making, which is how I like to use it typically. Or desserts, or tres leches cake. This is actually evaporated milk. So if we evaporate milk down and continue to go, so this is one step in making this. Evaporated milk, sweet condensed milk, okay? With our evaporated milk here, if you were to add water back into this, technically you can make it into milk again. So it's just a hair on the sweeter side compared to our regular milk, but it's evaporated down, which is also why it gives it the darker color, especially because it's been in a can for a while. Most people guess this immediately. This is butter. Bonus one, this is different. This is actually not a dairy product. This is margarine. So margarine is the fats from plants. So I can't believe it's not butter. In this case, that's not the brand, but that works. I can't believe it's not butter is a brand of margarine. In this case, if we start to compare them back and forth, you can't smell them, but the smell of the butter smells kind of a sweet, salty smell. The margarine smells kind of oily. If you were to feel them, the texture on the butter is very oily and slippery. The butter is a little smoother and a little creamier. Same thing with the texture, okay? So again, margarine is a plant fat, plant oil. So therefore, it is not a dairy product. That's why it's labeled as bonus one. But I wanted to show you the difference kind of between our margarine and our butter. Both okay for you in moderation. Support the dairy farmers. But of course, if you eat this, you're also supporting our plant farmers. So either way, you're supporting agriculture if you're eating food. So those are a look at our dairy products for today.